Zenith clock radio. Very simple. I was told it does not work. Volume tuning. You know, nothing crazy here. Cabinet's okay. No cracks. You know, these are good. You can use them. You know, they're good to use. They sound really good. So let's pull it apart. To be honest, I'm kind of shocked this doesn't work because there's really not much to it. 3 electrolytics and a few paper caps. I think there are about 3. That's it. It's a little gummed up. So is the volume control. We'll clean it up a bit. Should come out real nice. And then we'll work on it. Oh, look. Mins Gallagher. Must have been the owner. Cool. So this capacitor, the can, has been replaced, and that's fine. But they replaced it with a dual 47 microfarad capacitor. Now the schematic shows the first filter capacitor is an 80, and the second one is a 40. So, you know, the values kind of don't matter, but they do. So you have your first filter capacitor normally with a tube like this. I think the maximum is probably about a 50 that you can use safely. Now, what they've done is they've added this resistor right here in line between the rectifier and the first filter. You can kind of see it connecting over there. So what that does is then it brings the voltage down a little bit, just a tiny bit, and it you know, basically eliminates the need for a reduced filter capacitor. So you could put anything there. Well, not anything, but a higher value. And I think what I'm going to do, because, you know, I want to get this kind of close, is I'm going to put one of these in. This is 100 microfarad at 160 volts. That should be fine. I'm going to just hide it in underneath. It doesn't really matter. I think I can just kind of stick it in under here, you know, one of those kind of things. And then we'll hook it up. Okay, it's recapped. The only thing I didn't do, which I think I might want to do, this capacitor right here, this disc, the green disc, that is a line bypass capacitor. It really should be a safety capacitor. Got the safety cap in there, makes it a little safer. That's that blue one. It doesn't make the radio safe to touch when you're in the shower. It does make the radio safe in the sense that if that capacitor were to short, you wouldn't have full line voltage on the chassis. It would just go open, the radio would squeal, and it wouldn't work well. So that's the good news there. I've cleaned the controls. I'm going to go ahead and power it up.
On the fan, a Giants victory Friday. And earlier in the show, I asked Tiki, what do you do after you're excited?
Play the pain of your college football.
AccuWeather says tonight, cloudy but not as chilly.
Tells you by
56 degrees.
1955, they really got the radios working pretty well. Lady Gaga.
Call 1-205-271-298.
Okay, we're back on the Zenith clock radio. We're going to rebuild this IF transformer. The top two, you can see the top one goes to this side. The other side of the top goes to this side. And I drew the markings on the other side. The one with the arrow is for the bottom. See the arrow there? That's the bottom 2 coils. So, yeah. All right, that's the finished product. I can put the 2 capacitors in replacement for this. You can see the migration on this disc was really serious. Now you can clean these up with pencil eraser. So if you take a pencil eraser, you can erase this migration and it'll work. Now, how long will it work? Well, it might work for another 30 years. Might work for 10 years, I don't know. But this solution, which is a little bit crazier, but it's whatever, that will work for another probably 100 years. And I don't know if anyone's going to be listening to AM radio in 100 years. Probably not. But, I'd rather just fix it right. Why fix it half right when you can do it the right way? So now I have to do the other one. So we've started this. Might as well finish it. I don't have to worry about this thing. I just want it to work. So we're going to make it work. Okay, here's the second IF transformer. You can see this is a little different. It's got 3 capacitors in it. So the right side here, if I look at this here, the right side is actually the bottom coils. The left side, looking at this 4 section here, is the top coils. So those have to be removed. So the best way to do this is to actually unsolder, like I did before. Unsolder those tiny hair thin wires. Just go slow. Don't go crazy. Just slow. Remove them. Undo this nut here in the middle. And try not to let it fall apart on you. Be very careful. Separate the 2 halves, and then you can then go ahead and remove that mica sheet. This one has 2 120 picofarad and 1 180. It's documented well online, so I didn't have to do any measurement on this. But if you don't have the documentation available, you might want to measure these. You can measure it in while it's connected here and just see what they are. Here's the other one. That's got 3 capacitors, 2 120s and a 180. I replaced it with 2 120s and a 120 and a 168 together because that's all I had. It'll work. It's not ideal, but it'll work. So we'll go ahead and power this up, see what it does. Hopefully it will play better. We are back in business.
He believed in reciprocal.
Your allergy concern, Trina allergy. Big spending across the board out of big
Much more sensitive than it was.
You politicize decision-making about putting
For purgatory. And it's going to direct you and guide you to all of the paragraphs by number. That
for using the constitutional Article 2.
New York City stood in our voice.
Well, I can't wait to put this one beside my bed. See if it'll wake me up in the morning.
great state of Massachusetts. How are you, Bella?
I'm good. How are you?
Lots
Very
of volume.
well, thank you. Thanks
so
for
this is the
calling.
original output tube. I put back because it seems to be okay. I think
So
the
what
problem
is
with
your glory
silver
to God?
mica. I think what I'm going to do is check the alignment. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those wonderful designs with no alignment marks on the dial. The way that it tells me to do the alignment is to set it to 1600, which I think is all the way over. Inject a signal and then, align it. Now, I don't typically like to do that. I like to do it by ear because this is me and it's quicker. I usually set it, there's two stations that I like to set it at. There's 1350, which is a local station. And then there's 600, which is our local station that, is basically ubiquitous everywhere. Everyone gets it. You can get it on a hair dryer. It's so easy to get. So I go to that, and then I set it, and then I go to 1350. Now this radio doesn't work that way. There's no two adjustments. There's only one, and they want you to set it at 1600. So I'm probably going to have to drag out the signal generator and do it again. So what I did here is I set the dial. You can see here that at 1600, it's all the way over. And around here, you have your oscillator adjustment screw. I want to get that. That's at 1600. And then you go to your adjustment. That's the antenna. See how... That's about the loudest it's going to be. So that's a 1600. That should align the rest of the dial. This is not a good design because normally you have a low end adjustment as well where you can adjust it about 550 or 600. And this radio isn't built that way, and that's okay, but it should at least be fairly sensitive. Seems all right.
In parlays to live bet.
And he's still the brother.
Eddie plays.
Rooting for your favorite players? You'll find all sorts of markets for betting on any star.
Gotta bet all your money till you have nothing left.
We've seen a difference in performance with where Wink was here, the defense was good.
Knows owning a home can be hard, but not always.
We have the...
And the fact that he's a... Today, Bloomberg Politics control.
Choose Molly Ingram report. Number to dial is 833-288-EW.
Lineman's still not quite right.
Right now with Charlie Pellet, he's at World Headquarters.
Trade deadline talks now by the general manager Chris Field up by
Trying to arrest drug suspects. He was one of 2 officers killed that day in a drug-related incident. The 2 were mourned together in an enormous joint funeral, and their murders sparked public outcry
Not too far
over the
over.
epidemic of drug-related crime in New York City at the time.
That's the power to run your refrigerator.
I'm not moving on
That's
from Will McDonald. I'm just...
I'm
Michael Clayton Circular Care.
Worse.
The money you have for 2...
Just get home.
In a construction site accident. Have you... Rains yesterday and last night caused significant flooding in Stanford. City officials say over 30 roads were impacted in Stanford,
silver
with
mica
multiple vehicles
is
becoming
fixed.
stuck in rising
And that's
water.
what really matters.
There were no injuries reported in the
Cabinet's
city.
okay.
The storm also
Cleaned up
caused
all right.
thousands of
Looks
power
pretty
outages
nice.
across Connecticut, with the
And,
highest
we should be good to
concentration
go for a
being
long
in
time.
Fairfield County.
But I always used to say, you know, these kind of radios were great for a beginner. That's not the case anymore. These are advanced radios now because they all have silver mica migration. If they don't have it when you buy it and first power it up, play it for a month or 2 and it will have it. And you will be fixing it just like I did. And unless you like dealing with really thin little wires and all sorts of stuff like that, I probably wouldn't even bother. I mean, these are cheap radios. They're not worth much. And there's a reason they're not worth much. It's because, you know, people now know that these are hard to fix. And, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of unfortunate because it's a great design. I mean, you know, is this a bad radio? No, it's not. It's actually probably one of the best. These Zenith clock radios, the Zenith anything from the early 50s, mid 50s, you know, top of the line as far as build quality. So, unfortunately, like everything else from the 50s, it's just the, you know, it is what it is.